Scott, how you doing?
Not bad at all, Jack. How are you doing?
I'm great, man. I'm great. Yeah, things are great.
Well, that's good. I just finished your movie this morning, and I did think it was fantastic. It was almost like a slow burn feast to me.
Oh, great. Thank
Really,
you so much, man. I appreciate that.
no problem. Hi, my name is Trap John. I'm with ScareTissue.com. Today we have the director of the new horror film, Dark Was the Night. His name is Jack Heller. The film stars Kevin Durand, Lucas Hayes, and Bianca is it Kajlik? Or Kate? Is it Kajok?
Bianca.
Yeah, what's Bianca's last name?
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, sorry. You just cut out for a second.
I apologize. I'm using Google Voice, and sometimes it can be funny.
Oh, no worries. No worries.
What is Bianca's last name? How do you pronounce that?
Oh, well, Bianca Kalich?
Kalich, okay. What brought you to make Dark Was the Night?
You know, I've always been a fan of thrillers and mysteries, and I've always really had a strong obsession with creature features from Ray Harryhausen to the moment that I saw Jurassic Park and was just completely, got smacked across the face with what you can do with a movie. And when I read the initial sort of email when someone had passed along to me and they said, what it was, I freaked out and became obsessed and read the script immediately that day. And for probably a good 6 months before I could convince the writer to give up the property because it had been with someone else for a while, and they were sort of focused for a certain amount of time on a different version of the movie, and the writer and I got along great, and so as soon as the script became available, we set off to make the film.
Well, very good. And when I was actually researching the film, to me it just looked like a regular old werewolf story, and it's just so much more than that. Can you tell us a little bit about the movie itself?
Sure. The movie is about Sheriff Paul Shields. He's a small-town sheriff, and he's dealing with the loss of a son, and at the same time there's a lot of things happening in the small town that he, as the sheriff, is looked towards to take care of and to support the population. And through his grief, he can't see clearly, and he can't see, no pun intended, the forest from the trees. And so he has to get right with himself and get right with the emotional battles that he's dealing with, and separation with his wife, and embracing his living son that he does have. And as he does that, he's able to deal with what is haunting the town, which turns out to be something mysterious and ancient and evil, currently living in their woods.
Can you tell us a little bit about this mysterious evil, these creatures that we run, or this creature that we run across?
Sure. So there's a creature, and he is well, I don't want to give too much away because if I give a certain specific about him, people may know a little bit. But we were really focused on making sure that there was some backstory, to the creature, and that it wasn't just there for the sake of having something that, screamed and roared and clawed and killed and all the great things that it does do. But this is something that's been living in the woods and has been unearthed by a logging company who's been taking away this creature's territory, and it's hungry. And so as the creature is sort of pushed out of the woods, it finds this great little town of Maine Woods and sets off to find sort of the weakest links and to, fight for its own survival by finding a new source of food. And, that storyline is pretty much in the background of the film as the sheriff is sort of dealing with his own, demons and the inner creature that's sort of coming up through his grief. And the two of them sort of meet up in what I will say is, our version of, final battle to sort of, vanquish his personal demons and the real one.
Very good. And I did love the setup to the entire movie with the the town just wakes up and finds the footprints running through the town and coming up to their windows in the investigation. And I heard that was based on a real life event.
You know, I don't, someone had said that to me. I don't know the actual genesis of that specific story, but I do know that when I read that in the screenplay, it was the reason that this was a movie that I gravitated towards. I just felt like the eerie tone that you know, visually that provided, and then having to, you know, go then into each person's sort of psyche of how that plays for them was so exciting to me. I mean, is it a prank? Is it real? Who could have done it? Why could it have been done? Is it a threat? Is it not a threat? And so when I read that scene, the way Tyler had written it was so, you know, perfect and to the note that it just, for me, informed my decision to just want to make this movie.
Yeah, that was the same way I felt. I mean, that scene could have stood alone, almost like the creepypastas that you run across on the internet of just finding that out there. And it's actually based upon an 1855 incident in England where people just found footsteps that went, and they were, I believe they were just biped hoofs. And they went from 40 to 100 miles depending upon who you talk to.
Huh.
So I just found that entirely way too I mean, the creatures themselves, and when you start getting into the mythology that that you deal with in there, I personally got excited when you started talking Wendangos, and I saw that a lot of the features were pulled from different pieces of folklore and myths from the United States.
Well, what we tried to do is we tried to make it something that could be scary to everyone. So we really tried to create, you know, our own backstory for it. We didn't want it to be something that was specific to any one town or any one, you know, story or, you know, thing like you're saying, for example, what had happened in England. And we tried to stay away from any overly specific references. And there is one moment where, you know, Paul is, I believe, on the computer, and so he's sort of looking it up, and he's getting all these references, you know, being thrown at him, but it's not exact. And so the idea is that he has to sort of figure out, well, is this real? Because there is no sort of history that I can think of for it. And when we were designing the creature, we really sort of, you know, we were going in and saying, you know, does it have hair? Well, would it have hair if it lived in this sort of thing? Does it have, what kind of feet does it have? What kind of arms does it have? You know, we really sort of tried to go in there. You know, one of the things that I was really proud of, which, you know, we don't really get to show off in this film, but it is something just, you know, mentally for us that we thought about, was like the creature's skin is sort of shaped like bark and like a tree. And so, you know, the idea is if it's standing in the forest, maybe you'd miss it, you know. So we were trying to come up with ways that felt like this thing was a real thing, and that it, you know, how would it survive?
Right, and how it played out was perfect, because it almost, and going to another movie reference of Night of the Living Dead, how everybody knew there was a threat out there, but nobody really could say, here's what it is, or really even knew anything about it. They just knew this is the threat, and that's what they went to attack. Now, there's many horror scripts out there that just the writers and the directors write themselves into the corner. You did a great job of hiding the creature for a majority of the film, just using different camera tricks, and just that heightened the mood that you were trying to get across. Why do you think most horror directors really write themselves into the corner or show their hand way too early in the movie?
You know, I can't really speak to why others would end up doing that. I mean, I know that, I mean, you know, film is a collaborative effort, and so it's not always one person's choice. For me, I mean, it was definitely one of the things that I wanted to apply to the film when I first read it. I knew that, you know, because Tyler wrote a great screenplay, but in any other director's hands, maybe they would have shown it earlier. Maybe they would have done something different. You know, maybe when it's lurking, it's actually there, and you see a full close-up. For me, what makes something scary and uneasy is what they do in Alien or what they do in Jaws. I mean, it's the anticipation of it. It's the, you know, it's out, like you said, in Night of the Living Dead. All of the fun stuff, all of the goodness that goes into these kinds of films and that hooks us in is that anticipation. And it's tough. I mean, it's tough as a director when you're on set and you have people who want you to show the bang, and you're saying, well, no, the anticipation is in the bang. You have to decide, can you go through with, your choice to just hold off and let that be your film? And sometimes it does make sense to show it earlier, but for us in this specific film, it really didn't, and we really wanted it to be sort of a culmination of the sheriff, who's played, so excellently by Kevin. When he culminates his storyline, then that's when you see the creature, because he's able to finally defeat that demon and realize what that demon is, not only inside of him, but also the real one in front of him.
How have audiences reacted to Dark Was the Night?
From what we've been able to garner, we had a couple of great screenings. We played at Lincoln Center in New York. Their film society that puts on the New York Film Festival. They do a series as part of that. That is, their favorite scary films of the year, and so we were part of that at the end of last year, and we had a great sold-out crowd at Lincoln Center in New York that seemed to have gone wild for it, and so. We've been really, really lucky to have a lot of people really love the film and love, the choices we made to make the film.
Well, I look forward to seeing more from it. Are we going to see more along in this series? Is there plans for Tyler to write anything else, or do you think this has legs for a franchise?
Every journey begins. And restarts, once the reactions come in. So, for now we've sort of been getting to this moment that we're so proud of, that we've all worked so hard on. And so we'll see what people want. I think that there is always room for more, but at the same time, I think that, for me as a director, I really feel like this was the film that we wanted to make and the story that we wanted to tell, for these characters and for this town and for this creature.
Well, you should be very proud. You did a wonderful job on this film, and I appreciate having you today.
Well, thank you so much, and I really appreciate your time as well.
All right, check out my review that will be upcoming on scaretissue.com. And if you have anything else in the future, just let us know.
We'll do. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Jack. All right, bye.
Bye.